those same type of hemorrhages when you lifted the eyelid?
Yes.
And if we could have photo 2149. What are we seeing here?
Dawson on his neck, similar to Cora, had a linear, horizontally oriented ligature furrow consisting of an area of pallor around the neck. He had distinct superior and inferior edges to his furrow as well. This is on the back side of the neck, where we can also appreciate they appear more prominent in Dawson than in Cora, yes.
And what can cause the damage being more prominent and more dispersed over the face?
Again, petechial hemorrhages occur as a result of rupturing of small vessels in the skin. And so the fact that there are more present in Dawson is indicative that there were moments where some blood did reach or push through the furrow or the ligature in little spikes or changes in the pressure of the ligature.
And if I could see photo 2143, please. What are we seeing in this photo?
This is the back of his left forearm. It is a little pale with the light, but there were 3 small bruises on the back of his left forearm.
And going to photo 2155. What are we seeing in this photo?
This is a picture
Before we get into this testimony, pay close attention to what the medical examiner is about to explain, because this portion of the courtroom proceedings is where the physical evidence becomes extremely important. The witness is being asked specifically about Dawson Clancy's autopsy and the injuries observed during the examination. What follows is not speculation from a commentator. It is medical testimony describing documented injuries, photographs, and the conclusions reached by the examiner. As the photographs are introduced, the testimony focuses on injuries around Dawson's neck, hemorrhaging around his eyes and inside his mouth, bruising on his arms and legs, and other physical findings. But there is one detail that becomes especially significant. The examiner explains that the appearance of the injuries can provide information about what happened to the body before death, including changes in pressure and movement involving the ligature. And then comes the question every viewer should be listening for. What did the medical examiner ultimately determine was the cause of death? The answer comes later in this testimony, and it is direct. So watch closely, because the courtroom is about to move from photographs and individual injuries to the medical conclusion connecting those findings together. And as you listen, ask yourself, do these physical findings change how you understand the events surrounding Dawson's death?
Did you also examine or do an autopsy on Dawson Clancy?
Yes.
And when was that?
January 25th.
And did you observe injuries on Dawson Clancy when you did the external examination?
I did observe injuries to Dawson. He had trauma to his neck with associated injuries of the head, as well as minor injuries to his left arm and his legs.
And if we could pull up photo 2166. What are we seeing in this photo?
This photo is a picture of the lower lip of Dawson being pulled down, and we can see, again, similar to Cora, these petechial hemorrhages on the inside of the mouth.
And can you also see them on the eyes in this photo?
You can see periorbital petechial hemorrhages, so the skin around the eye.
And were there also those same type of hemorrhages when you lifted the eyelid?
Yes.
And if we could have photo 2149. What are we seeing here?
Dawson on his neck, similar to Cora, had a linear, horizontally oriented ligature furrow consisting of an area of pallor around the neck. He had distinct superior and inferior edges to his furrow as well. This is on the back side of the neck, where we can also appreciate abrasions that are in line or parallel with the inferior and superior edges of the furrow.
And if we could have photo 2147, please. What are we seeing in this photograph?
In this photograph, we can appreciate the distinct area of pallor here on the neck, again representing the ligature furrow with diffuse petechial hemorrhages of the skin of the face.
And what are we seeing there on his shoulder?
This is just some dried body fluid.
And if we could see photo 2151, please. What is depicted in this photograph?
This is a similar photograph to the one just shown here, where you can see the distinct area of pallor representing the ligature furrow with superior and inferior edges, and again, the diffuse petechial hemorrhages of the face.
And these photos of Dawson's face, the petechial hemorrhaging on the face, appear to be darker than those and more expansive than those on Cora's face, correct?
They appear more prominent in Dawson than in Cora, yes.
And what can cause the damage being more prominent and more dispersed over the face?
Again, petechial hemorrhages occur as a result of rupturing of small vessels in the skin. And so the fact that there are more present in Dawson is indicative that there were moments where some blood did reach or push through the furrow or the ligature in little spikes or peaks, which would just result in momentary increases in blood pressure that would result in more petechial hemorrhages.
And what would cause that blood being able to flow?
Any movement against the carotid arteries. The carotid arteries are thicker and more muscular than the veins, so they're more likely to push through with the blood. So that could be movement of the ligature or movement of the person handling the ligature or movement of Dawson himself.
Now this is a critical medical explanation, because the examiner has just been asked to explain why Dawson's facial hemorrhages appeared more prominent than those observed on Cora. The testimony does not simply say, there were injuries. It goes deeper into the possible mechanics behind those findings. The examiner explains that these small hemorrhages can occur when small blood vessels rupture, and that changes in pressure or movement may contribute to the pattern observed. But notice the wording. The testimony identifies possible mechanisms. It does not, by itself, identify exactly who caused the movement or pressure. The examiner specifically mentions possibilities including movement by Dawson himself, movement of the ligature, or movement by someone handling the ligature. That distinction matters when evaluating evidence in a courtroom. And now the testimony shifts toward additional bruises on Dawson's arms and legs. Those injuries are being documented photograph by photograph, building a broader picture of his physical condition. So what do you think? Do these additional injuries strengthen the significance of the neck findings, or should each injury be considered separately? Keep that question in mind, because the testimony is about to reach its most important medical conclusion.
So it could be from Dawson struggling, or it could be from more pressure or force of the ligature?
Yes, changes in the pressure of the ligature.
And if I could see photo 2143, please. What are we seeing in this photo?
This is the back of his left forearm. It is a little pale with the light, but there were 3 small bruises on the back of his left forearm.
And going to photo 2155. What are we seeing in this photo?
This is a picture of us. So at this position, Dawson is face down, so we're looking at the side of his right leg, and we can see a small faint bruise here.
And then going to photo 2144. What are we seeing in this photograph?
This is an up-close photograph, but I can appreciate that there are small bruises in the center of the image.
And photograph 2156. What are we seeing in this photograph?
In this photograph, we're looking at the back of the legs. The one closest to us is the left leg. The one farthest from us is the right. You can see bruises here, here, and here, as well as the inside of the right knee.
And so when you said here, here, and here, that was the outer portion of the
left upper leg.
Thank you. We could have photo 2119, please. What is depicted in this photograph?
This is an up-close photo of his hands.
And is there any significance to the blueness of the fingernails?
I would not have called these necessarily blue or cyanotic. That would be more of the discoloration of his face. There is some subtle blueness to the nail beds, which is again a sign of cyanosis, which is just reflective of a decrease in oxygen in the body.
And last photo is the PDF, please. What are we seeing here?
In this image, Dawson is face up, and we can see his right and left legs. Here on his right lower leg, we see small bruises. On his left knee, we are seeing a bruise, and here is a site of medical intervention, the intraosseous catheter site.
And what are you able to tell us about the bruises on Dawson in terms of whether they're fresh or old?
They were all red and purple in appearance. So
We
they
have
were more
now
recent.
heard the examiner describe injuries involving Dawson's neck, face, arms, legs, and knees, along with findings involving oxygen deprivation. The examiner also testified that the bruises were red and purple in appearance and therefore considered more recent rather than older injuries. But remember, the significance of any individual injury is ultimately a matter for the court and jury to evaluate alongside the rest of the evidence. And now comes the moment that puts all of this medical testimony into context. The attorney asks the examiner whether a cause of death could be determined, and whether that conclusion could be stated to a reasonable degree of medical certainty. The witness answers yes. Then comes the cause of death. This is the point where the testimony moves beyond describing photographs and individual physical findings and reaches the examiner's formal medical conclusion. For viewers following the case, this is arguably the most important exchange in the entire testimony. Listen carefully to the exact conclusion, because the next few seconds establish what the medical examiner says ultimately caused Dawson's
red and
death.
purple in appearance, so they were more recent.
And based on your examination of Dawson, were you able to determine a cause of death?
Yes.
And did you determine that to a reasonable degree of medical certainty?
Yes.
And what was that?
Asphyxia.
Your Honor, I'd move to submit the original photos of Cora and Dawson as for identification, and the other, the ones that were just shown to the jury as exhibits.
So mark the first set for identification.
It's N and O for identification.
All right. Then over the defendant's objection, using the same analysis as stated in the sidebar, those other photographs may be admitted.
The photos of Cora and then Dawson as the next exhibits, please.
It's 228 and 229.
And then the, excuse me, that certificate of Cora Marie Clancy as the next exhibit.
I have no objection to that.
All right. That may be admitted.
And the death certificate of Dawson William Clancy as the next exhibit.
And that brings this portion of the courtroom testimony to a close. The medical examiner testified
Nothing
that Dawson
further, thank
Clancy
you.
had trauma to his neck, hemorrhaging around the face and eyes,
Step down.
Thank you, Your
additional bruising to his arms and legs, and signs consistent with decreased oxygen. The examiner also testified that the bruises appeared recent and, most importantly, gave the medical cause of death as asphyxia to a reasonable degree of medical certainty. The courtroom then moved into the evidentiary phase, where photographs shown during the testimony were addressed as exhibits. The record shows that the defense objected to the photographs, but the court allowed the relevant photographs to be admitted following the court's stated analysis. The certificates for Cora Marie Clancy and Dawson William Clancy were also addressed, with no objection noted to the latter admission. It is important to separate what this witness established medically from any broader conclusions about responsibility or guilt. The testimony establishes the examiner's medical findings and opinion. The ultimate legal determination belongs to the court and jury based on the complete evidence presented. So what do you think about the testimony? Did the medical evidence change your understanding of the case? If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.